This happened a long time ago. I'm guessing back in 2006. I couldn't have been older than 4 at the time. Yet I vividly remember the fear I felt during this encounter. It was an early summer morning, and the sun was coming up. But few people were out. In fact, the streets were practically dead that morning. My mum decided to take my sister, a 1-year-old, seated in a stroller, and I to throw away some garbage at the garbage station. I might add that the garbage station is kind of secluded from nearby houses, bordering one of those deep, dark forests of eastern Sweden. Since I was only 4 when this happened, the memories from the incident have faded a lot. However, my mum remembers it all. She says that upon entering the garbage station, she immediately got an eerie feeling of being watched. I remember feeling it too. I felt creeped out, even though I didn't know why I was scared. I guess I could just sense my mum's fear. Walking along the secluded garbage station, my mum suddenly stopped and told me this: "Hold onto the stroller as hard as you can, and don't let go no matter what." That is my most vivid memory I have of this, and I don't think I'll ever forget those words. I'll at least never forget how they made me feel. It was as if my blood turned to ice. I just froze. My mum sounded stern, but even a toddler can sense when someone's scared shitless. My mum was definitely afraid of something. The rest is just a blur. I don't remember much, apart from the aforementioned. So I'll let the rest of the story be told from the perspective of my mother. This is the recollection of her experience, recalled to the best of my abilities but in my own words. Not far from where we were standing, a truck was parked with a man seated in the front. There was nothing unusual. A lot of truck drivers stopped to rest by the side of the road. But this man was staring. He wouldn't stop staring. He stared right at me, examining my body, with the determined gaze of a predator. Gluing the 3 of us in his sight, he truly seemed pleased by the fear he'd instilled in our faces. And his eyes, they were something else. Almost as if they didn't belong to a human, but rather a predator of the savannah. I felt like prey, stuck in the claws of a lion. I just couldn't move. That's when he smiled at me. I remember that smile. Dead, cold, calculating eyes to go along with it, and the way he licked his lips, almost as if to say, "I could kill you if I wanted to." I believe this was the point in time, into the strange encounter, when my mum told me to hold onto the stroller, tightly, and not let go. My mum is a small woman, standing at 160 centimeters and weighing barely 45 kilos, and could easily have been overpowered by the overweight man in the truck. My mum later admitted she was afraid he would jump out and knock her out, possibly assaulting her, or even kidnapping me or my 1-year-old sister. We bolted out of there. We didn't throw away much garbage that morning. We just turned around and walked home as quickly as we could, as a mum can with a stroller and a 4-year-old and toddler. We never spoke about what happened that day up until very recently. This incident lingered somewhere in the back of my mind as that weird thing that happened when I was a child, and every time I walk past that garbage station I get a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. As previously mentioned, this happened around 2006. Fast forward to 2008. The face of a 10-year-old girl called Engla was printed across the front page of every newspaper in sight. She had been abducted, sexually assaulted and murdered. And the perpetrator was an overweight truck driver by the name of Anders Elkland, now known as one of Sweden's most infamous killers. Anders Elkland was charged with the murder of Engla, alongside the rape and murder of a woman called Pernilla. He was also suspected of abducting another little girl who's still missing, making him a pedophile, a serial rapist, and serial killer. My mum says that when she saw Elkland's picture in the paper, especially when she saw those cold, familiar eyes, she knew he was the creepy man from the garbage station that early morning all those years ago. Thinking how my mum or my sister or me, all of us could have been his victims, sends chills up my spine. Anders, even though you're behind bars, let's never meet again.